Okay folks, welcome back to using Excel to manipulate and present data. So in the previous Mini-URT using Excel 2013, we inputted an equation and we then went and populated all of the cells adjacent to the Delta Deuterium with the appropriate temperature in degrees Celsius. What we're going to do in this Mini-URT is we are going to plot this data against the ice age in years. So again, with Excel 2013, we have a lot of functionality up the top here. We have insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, and view. If we go over to insert here, we see that there is one of the menu options up the top here, which is inserting a chart. Before we get to playing around with the chart though, what we want to do is select the data that we want to plot. Now in Excel, you've got multiple charts that, multiple ways to plot the chart. When we have two variables, namely ice age and temperature, the most appropriate chart to select is the XY scatter plot, which is this one over here. In Excel 2013, it will pop up with a tooltip box, which is very handy, and it will tell you exactly what the scatter or XY or bubble chart, no, actually I'm not sure what a bubble chart is, we won't worry about that. What it does, and it says use this chart type to show the relationship between sets of values. Exactly what we're after. There are a number of other things like pie charts, bar charts, web charts, stock service charts, but let's not worry about them for now. You want to plot two sets of things, and we can go in rows and columns, but for now we're just going to work with two sets of columns. And we've got here the temperature in degrees Celsius here on the right, and we're interested in plotting the ice age against it. To begin with, select some of the ice age data here, but you can see that if you wanted to then select the temperature data and use your mouse to select it, all of a sudden we've lost our ice age selection. Again, this is where the control button comes into use. So if I select this, so I'm clicking and holding down and I want to select the first 15 ice age years here, I then move my mouse over, and before I click I hold down the control button and then I select the first 15 of the Delta Deuterium data here, and you can see I've made a mistake there, so I'm going to try and uncorrect that. One more time to the first 15 thereabouts, and then select this one here. There we go. So that was using the control button. Now I can move up to the charts button here. It will come up with the option for inserting a chart, and I'm just going to click it. It comes up with the different menus. Excel 2013 is fantastic in that it gives you a preview of what the chart looks like. So you've got some idea down the bottom here of exactly what's going on. As scientists, begin with plotting just the points. Do not put in the lines in between them, because that provides interpolation, which really isn't that correct to begin with. So go with just plotting the points on its own. So there we go, ta-da! And now we'll have a bunch of options at the top here. Excel 2013, I think like Excel 2011, possibly Excel 2010, will change the ribbon menu. So at the moment we've got these ribbons here all the way up until view. When I click on the chart, we've got an extra couple ones here under the functionality of chart tools, which will include design and format. So we can change things to the chart as we go through. We're not going to worry too much about changing colors or fonts or anything along those lines just yet. We need to play with how to pragmatically demonstrate, how to pragmatically show the data so that it means something. To begin with, you can see that with most XY charts you should have the x-axis on the bottom and the y-axis on the left. You can see that the x-axis is at the top. So we're going to manipulate this chart so that maybe we'll do a couple of formatting things, but we really want that x-axis to be at the bottom. Strangely, what you have to do in Excel is you have to select the y-axis, right, in order to change the position of the x-axis and tell it that the x-axis needs to intercept at the bottom here. Right-click on the vertical axis here and then click on Format Axis. What happens is in Excel 2013 is that it opens up on the right-hand side here a Format Axis window. This is different to previous versions of Excel. We've got the axis options here. It gives you the bounds, the minimum and the maximum, and the units, as well as this interesting one here. Horizontal axis crosses at, and automatic is selected. Select axis value, and then we want it to cross at minus 57.5, so change this to minus 57.5 and then press enter. And look at that. You can now see that the x-axis, I'll just close down this format chart area option here, the x-axis is now intercepting the y-axis at minus 57.5. Pretty cool. We need to add in some titles as well. So at the moment, this is, we know by selecting the data that the purple here is the x-axis, and this is the ice age in years, going all the way up until 281. That's that data point there, and that the y-axis here is temperature in degrees Celsius. We need to add the titles, the x-axis title and the y-axis title, in order to inform the reader as to what this means. I personally do not use chart titles, but that is entirely up to you. You'll find that the chart title here could be something like temperature versus ice age. But I don't like titles myself because they use up too much space, and publications generally do not like titles like this because you contain all the information in the figure caption. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. I want to add in the features of the x-axis title and the y-axis title. Again, come up to your chart tools at the top here under design, and then on the left hand side here you have add chart element, and there's a whole host of things that you can add here, including error bars, including titles, including legends, or whatever the case may be. We're going to go to axis titles here, and Excel 2013 will give us a preview. We're going to go primary horizontal and click on that, and then come back to add chart element, axis titles, and then primary vertical. There we go. So it's added the axis title at the bottom here and the axis title on the left here. We're going to change this. We aren't plotting axis titles. We're plotting the ice age. And if you're a geologist, you will use the geology annotation for years, which is A, annum. Okay, ice age A. Then we're going to come to the y-axis title. Again, I'm going to delete axis title here, and we're going to call this temperature. Temperature, and we want to add that little degree symbol. It sounds tricky, but reality is if you just go up here to insert, and then across to the right here under symbols, and then click on symbol, it will bring up the symbol browser. Click on the degrees one, it'll be amongst this one here. I've used these recently, so there we go. Insert, and then I'm going to close this window, and ta-da! Look at that, I've got a little degree symbol right there. And then put degree C and close bracket. Just put open bracket on this side, and look at that. We're getting ourselves a nice looking graph already. Fantastic. Okay, Excel does something a bit strange by default. It has a tendency to put a border around the outside of the graph. I'm not a huge fan of that personally. Again, we can come here. I'm selecting the graph. We go to design. It's in format. There's shape outline. I'm going to set shape outline to no outline here. And then when we take a look at it, notice that we're now missing those gray borders on the outside. This looks a lot better in your Word documents, trust me. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these minor axes, these grid lines here. I think they're major grid lines. Kind of clutter the graph a little bit. Again, we're not huge fans of clutter as scientists. We like data to be presented concisely and clearly. I'm going to change the x and the y axis lines to black. So again, come to shape outline, and then just choose black there, and because this is kind of a weird gray at the moment, black here, and then I'm going to put a black outline around the entire box. Look at that, like a professional. This is a very nice looking graph, if I may say so myself. There are a few things that we need to adjust. So, for example, I can select the points here. Blue is not, it's my favorite color, but it's not a very professional color. So what we're going to do instead, again, we can either change it up here, or when you right click, I do want you guys to get familiar with this window on the right hand side here. So we've got format data series. You change them by clicking on the little icons up the top here. So we're going to go to fill and line. We want to select marker. We're not interested in putting in a line at the moment. We're going to go marker, and then we're going to go fill. So I'm going to have them solid fill as black, perfectly fine. Border as a solid line and black, or we can just have no line. It really doesn't make a difference either way. And then close this, and look at that, a professional looking scientific graph. Okay, in the next part I'm going to cover adjusting the scales in order to make this a very presentable graph, as well as effectively identifying and highlighting certain points of the data, which you will need to do in your tutorial. Okay, see you guys